The quality of your life is not decided by what you do once. It is decided by the things you are willing to work on every single day. Think about that for a moment. If you worked on the right parts of your life every day, where would you be 1 year from now? Would you be stronger, more confident, more disciplined? Would you finally become the person you have been trying to become for so long? The truth is simple. Most people do not fail because they lack talent. They fail because they stop improving the things that matter most. They wait for the perfect time, a better mood, or a lucky opportunity. Meanwhile, another day passes, then another week, and eventually another year. This audiobook, 10 Things You Must Work On Every Day, is your guide to breaking that pattern. It is not about quick success or empty motivation. It is about 10 daily practices that can completely change the way you think, work, make decisions, build relationships, and live your life. Every chapter gives you practical lessons you can use immediately. If you commit to these daily habits with honesty and consistency, you will not just change your routine, you will change your future. Stay until the end, because one daily habit can create a lifetime of results. Chapter 1. Take charge of your morning before anything else. The first few minutes after you wake up are more valuable than most people realize. They quietly shape the way you think, the choices you make, and the energy you carry into everything that follows. A calm and intentional morning creates a calm and intentional day. A rushed and careless morning often leads to rushed decisions, forgotten priorities, and unnecessary stress. This is why your morning deserves your full attention before anything else asks for it. Many people wake up and immediately hand control of their mind to the outside world. They reach for their phone before they even sit up. Messages begin to appear. News fills the screen. Other people's opinions arrive before they have had a single moment to hear their own thoughts. Without noticing it, they begin reacting instead of leading. By the time breakfast is over, their attention has already been pulled in 10 different directions. A better day begins with a better decision. Choose yourself before you choose the world. Give your own mind the first few moments of every morning. Sit quietly. Notice your breathing. Feel the room around you. Allow your thoughts to settle before you invite outside noise into your life. This simple habit does not require money, talent, or perfect circumstances. It only requires a decision that your peace deserves protection. There will always be reasons to hurry. There will always be something demanding your attention. The challenge is not to remove every distraction. The challenge is to become stronger than those distractions. Every morning gives you another chance to practice that strength. Your morning should begin with purpose instead of pressure. Before thinking about everything that must be finished today, think about the kind of person you want to be today. The quality of your character matters more than the length of your task list. A person who stays patient, honest, disciplined, and focused creates better results than someone who rushes through the day without direction. Ask yourself a simple question before your feet touch the floor. What is one thing that absolutely deserves my best effort today? Keep the answer simple. One meaningful goal is more powerful than 20 empty intentions. When your attention is clear, your actions become clear as well. Your body also needs care before it is expected to perform. Drink water before another cup of coffee. Stretch your muscles, even if only for a few minutes. Walk around the room instead of staying still. Take several deep breaths. These small actions send a message to your body that the day has begun with care instead of neglect. Many people wait until they feel motivated before taking action. This habit keeps them trapped. Feelings change from one day to another. Discipline remains available every morning. Some mornings you will feel excited. Other mornings you may feel tired, discouraged, or uncertain. Your routine should not depend on your emotions. A simple routine repeated every day builds a stronger life than occasional bursts of excitement. There is something deeply satisfying about keeping a promise that nobody else knows you made. Waking up when you plan to wake up, making your bed, drinking water, reading a few pages, writing your thoughts, going for a short walk. None of these actions will impress strangers. That is exactly why they matter. They strengthen your relationship with yourself. Confidence grows quietly. It does not appear because someone praised you. It appears because you repeatedly prove that your actions match your words. Every small promise you keep becomes another piece of evidence that you can trust yourself. That trust becomes one of the strongest forms of confidence a person can build. Some mornings will not go according to plan. You may oversleep. You may wake up feeling disappointed because yesterday did not end the way you hoped. You may carry worries about work, family, or finances. These moments do not have to decide the rest of your day. One difficult beginning does not require a difficult ending. Instead of criticizing yourself, return to your routine as soon as possible. Drink the water, move your body, write your thoughts. Focus on your next good decision instead of your previous mistake. Progress does not belong to people with perfect mornings. It belongs to people who recover quickly when life becomes messy. Your environment also influences your mindset. A clean room creates fewer distractions than a cluttered one. Open the curtains. Allow fresh air into the space if possible. Make your surroundings support the person you are trying to become. Your environment should encourage discipline instead of inviting delay. Words matter, especially the words you quietly repeat to yourself. If every morning begins with thoughts like, "I cannot handle today," or "nothing will change," your actions will slowly begin to agree with those beliefs. Replace those thoughts with honest and useful ones. Tell yourself, "I can handle one step at a time." Tell yourself, "Today is another chance to improve." These statements are not empty encouragement. They are reminders that your next action is always within your control. Protect your attention during the first hour of the day. Attention is one of your greatest resources. Once it becomes scattered, it is difficult to gather again. Avoid unnecessary scrolling. Avoid checking every notification immediately. Most things can wait. The direction of your life is more important than the speed of your replies. Reading even a few pages from a thoughtful book each morning can quietly reshape the way you think. One useful idea carried throughout the day is often more valuable than hours of random entertainment. Feed your mind with something that strengthens your judgment instead of something that weakens your focus. Writing for a few minutes can also create surprising clarity. Write what you are grateful for. Write what you need to finish today. Write one lesson you learned yesterday. Write one habit you refuse to break today. These simple sentences become a conversation with yourself. They remind you that your life deserves thoughtful attention. Do not expect every morning to feel special. Real growth is often quiet. Many successful days begin in ordinary ways. The power comes from consistency rather than excitement. You are building a life one morning at a time, one choice at a time, one disciplined action after another. Remember that every sunrise offers something that cannot be purchased or borrowed. It offers another opportunity to become a wiser, calmer, and stronger person than you were yesterday. Yesterday is finished. Tomorrow has not arrived. This morning is where your influence exists. Take ownership of these early hours, because nobody else can do it for you. Every decision made before the world becomes noisy is an investment in the person you are becoming. When you consistently begin your mornings with intention, your days become more focused, your mind becomes steadier, and your confidence becomes quieter but stronger. Over time, people may notice the results, but long before they do, you will feel the difference yourself. You will wake up knowing that your life is no longer being pushed around by circumstances. It is being guided by your own deliberate choices, and that is where lasting change truly begins. Chapter 2. Keep every promise you make to yourself. The promises you make to yourself shape your life far more than the promises you make to anyone else. People often believe confidence comes from praise, talent, or success. In reality, confidence grows when you know you can rely on your own word. Every time you tell yourself that you will do something, and then follow through, you strengthen the relationship you have with yourself. That relationship influences every decision you make. Think about how trust works with another person. If someone repeatedly tells you they will arrive on time, but never does, you stop believing them. If they promise to help, but disappear whenever they are needed, your expectations change. Their words lose value because their actions no longer support them. The same thing happens inside your own mind. Every broken promise teaches your mind that your plans cannot be trusted. Every fulfilled promise teaches it the opposite. This is why self-discipline begins with honesty. Do not promise yourself a perfect life. Do not promise impossible changes overnight. Promise only what you are prepared to do today. A small promise that is completed has more value than a grand promise that is forgotten before the day ends. Many people make ambitious plans because those plans feel exciting. They decide they will wake up hours earlier, exercise every day, read several books each month, eat perfectly, and completely change their lives before the week is over. The excitement fades quickly because the plan was built on emotion instead of consistency. After missing a few days, disappointment replaces enthusiasm, and another promise is quietly abandoned. Real change follows a different path. It begins with commitments that fit into real life. If you have never exercised regularly, begin with 15 minutes instead of 90. If you want to read more, start with 10 pages each day instead of setting impossible targets. These actions may appear small, but they teach something far more important than speed. They teach reliability. Your future depends less on dramatic effort and more on repeated action. A person who keeps one simple promise every day builds a stronger foundation than someone who constantly starts over with larger goals. Success is rarely created by extraordinary days. It is created by ordinary days, handled with care and consistency. There will be mornings when keeping your promise feels inconvenient. You may feel tired after a restless night. Work may become demanding. Family responsibilities may require more of your attention than expected. These situations are part of life. They are not proof that your commitment has failed. They are opportunities to discover whether your values remain steady when circumstances become difficult. Instead of asking whether you feel motivated, ask whether your promise still matters. Feelings change from hour to hour. Your values should not. When you remember why you made a commitment, taking the next step becomes simpler. You stop negotiating with yourself and begin acting according to the person you want to become. Pay attention to the conversations happening inside your own mind. Excuses often sound reasonable because they speak in a calm voice. They tell you that one missed day will not matter, that you deserve a break before you have earned one, or that you can begin again tomorrow. Listen carefully and question those thoughts before accepting them. Many lasting regrets begin with small compromises repeated over time. This does not mean you should become harsh with yourself. Discipline and self-respect belong together. If you make a mistake, admit it without creating a story about failure. One missed habit does not erase months of effort. One difficult day does not define your character. Accept responsibility. Learn from the moment and return to your commitment without delay. A useful habit is to end every evening with a brief review of your day. Ask yourself simple questions. Which promise did I keep today? Which promise did I avoid? What made that commitment difficult? What can I improve tomorrow? Honest reflection creates awareness, and awareness creates better choices. You will discover that every promise you keep changes more than your schedule. It changes your identity. You begin seeing yourself as someone who follows through. That quiet belief influences how you approach work, relationships, challenges, and opportunities. Instead of hoping you will rise to the occasion, you know you can depend on yourself, because you have practiced doing exactly that through countless ordinary moments. The strongest people are not those who never struggle. They are the ones who refuse to let temporary discomfort decide permanent habits. They understand that every fulfilled commitment is another brick in the foundation of their character. No applause is required. No audience is necessary. The reward is becoming someone whose actions and words always move in the same direction. Keep your promises, because they shape the person you meet in the mirror every morning. When your word becomes dependable to yourself, confidence no longer depends on outside approval. It grows quietly from repeated evidence that you can trust yourself to do what you said you would do. That kind of confidence cannot be given by another person, and it cannot be taken away by temporary setbacks. It is earned, one honest promise at a time. Chapter 3. Choose better thoughts even on hard days. Hard days reveal the habits of your mind more clearly than easy days ever will. When everything is going well, it is easy to believe you have a positive attitude. The real test comes when plans fall apart, when people disappoint you, when progress feels slow, or when life becomes uncomfortable. Those moments expose the thoughts you choose to believe. They also reveal whether you control your mind or allow your circumstances to control it. Every person experiences difficult days. No amount of success, money, or experience removes them completely. There will always be unexpected problems, painful conversations, missed opportunities, and moments of uncertainty. The difference is not found in the number of challenges people face. The difference is found in the way they respond after those challenges appear. Your thoughts become the starting point of every decision you make. Before you speak, you think. Before you act, you think. Before you give up or continue, you think. If your thinking becomes stronger, your actions naturally begin to improve. That is why protecting the quality of your thoughts is one of the most valuable daily habits you can develop. Many people believe they have no control over what enters their mind. While you cannot prevent every negative thought from appearing, you can decide whether it deserves your attention. A thought is not automatically true simply because it enters your mind. It is only an idea. You choose whether to accept it, question it, or replace it with something more useful. Imagine making one mistake at work. One person immediately thinks, "I always fail. I am not good enough." Another person looks at the same situation and thinks, "That mistake showed me what I need to improve." The event is identical, yet the outcome becomes completely different because their thinking moves in different directions. One person creates hopelessness, the other creates growth. This does not mean pretending everything is perfect. Life is not perfect, and denying reality never creates strength. Better thinking begins with honesty. Admit when something is difficult. Accept when you have made a mistake. Recognize disappointment without allowing it to define your future. Honest thinking gives you a stable place to stand. Pay attention to the stories you repeatedly tell yourself. If you constantly repeat that life is unfair, that people cannot be trusted, or that nothing ever works out for you, your mind begins searching for evidence to support those beliefs. Soon you notice only what confirms your expectations, while ignoring everything that points in another direction. Instead, create thoughts that encourage responsibility. Tell yourself that every day gives you another chance to improve one area of your life. Remind yourself that one difficult moment does not erase years of progress. Remember that your character is built by your response, not by your circumstances. These thoughts create action instead of helplessness. The people around you also influence your thinking. Spend enough time with people who complain about everything, and you may begin speaking the same way without realizing it. Listen to constant criticism, and eventually you may expect the worst from every situation. This is why choosing your daily influences matters so much. Fill your mind with conversations, books, and ideas that encourage wisdom, responsibility, patience, and courage. Another powerful habit is learning to pause before reacting. Not every thought requires an immediate response. Not every feeling deserves immediate action. If someone speaks harshly to you, pause. If unexpected news ruins your plans, pause. Those few quiet moments give your wiser mind an opportunity to speak before your emotions take control. Strong people are not emotionless. They simply understand that emotions often change faster than facts. Anger becomes calmer, fear becomes smaller, disappointment becomes easier to understand. If every decision is made during your strongest emotions, regret often follows. Give yourself enough time to think clearly before deciding what to do next. Gratitude can also reshape difficult days in a practical way. Gratitude does not ignore problems. It reminds you that problems are not the only part of your life. Even on difficult days, there is usually something worth appreciating. A supportive friend, a healthy meal, a lesson learned from failure, a quiet evening after a busy day. These moments deserve attention because they keep your perspective balanced. Another useful practice is limiting unnecessary mental noise. Constantly checking upsetting news, comparing yourself with strangers online, or replaying old arguments fills your mind with information that rarely improves your life. Protect your attention. Choose carefully what enters your mind, because what enters repeatedly eventually influences how you think. Replace useless questions with productive ones. Instead of asking, "Why does this always happen to me?" ask, "What can I learn from this situation?" Instead of asking, "Why am I not as successful as someone else?" ask, "What skill should I improve next?" Better questions naturally produce better answers. Your daily routine also affects your thinking more than you may realize. Poor sleep makes small problems feel larger. Constant exhaustion weakens patience. Neglecting your health often makes clear thinking more difficult. Caring for your body supports your ability to think wisely. The mind and body work together every day. There will be moments when negative thoughts return repeatedly, despite your best efforts. Do not become discouraged by this. Mental strength develops through practice, just like any other skill. Every time you replace a destructive thought with a useful one, you strengthen that habit. Over weeks and months, your mind becomes more steady because you have trained it consistently. One helpful exercise is to review your thoughts at the end of each day. Ask yourself which thoughts helped you move forward and which ones held you back. Notice patterns without judging yourself. Awareness is often the first step toward meaningful change. Once you recognize repeated thinking habits, you become far more capable of changing them. Remember that your thoughts influence the atmosphere you create for others. A calm person often helps others remain calm. A hopeful person encourages others to continue trying. A patient person reduces unnecessary conflict. Choosing better thoughts does not only improve your own life, it quietly improves the lives of the people who spend time with you. Resilience is built one decision at a time. It grows every time you refuse to believe that one setback determines your future. It grows every time you focus on what you can control, instead of wasting energy on what you cannot change. It grows every time you choose responsibility over blame and progress over self-pity. Hard days will continue to appear, because that is part of being human. What changes is the person facing those days. With consistent practice, you become calmer under pressure, wiser during uncertainty, and more patient when results take longer than expected. Challenges stop feeling like permanent barriers and begin becoming opportunities to strengthen qualities that easy days could never develop. Never underestimate the quiet power of one healthy thought. One decision to think clearly instead of carelessly can change the direction of an entire conversation, an important choice, or even the course of your life. Every day gives you another opportunity to choose thoughts that support your values, strengthen your character, and move you closer to the person you genuinely want to become. Over time, those choices become your habits. Your habits become your character. and your character becomes the foundation upon which every meaningful achievement is built. Chapter 4. Stop making excuses and start moving forward. Excuses rarely sound like excuses when you hear them in your own mind. They often arrive dressed as reasonable explanations. They tell you that you are too busy, too tired, too late, or not prepared enough. They promise that tomorrow will be a better time to begin. They make waiting feel responsible and delaying feel harmless. The problem is not that excuses exist. Every person hears them. The problem begins when those excuses quietly become the voice that guides daily decisions. Progress is almost never stopped by one major event. More often, it slows because of small decisions, repeated over and over again. One missed workout becomes a week without movement. One postponed conversation becomes months of silence. One delayed opportunity becomes another year spent wondering what might have happened. Life changes through repeated choices, not isolated moments. There is a difference between a genuine obstacle and an excuse. An obstacle is something that requires you to adjust your plan. An excuse convinces you to abandon it. Learning to recognize that difference is one of the most valuable skills you can develop. Unexpected responsibilities, illness, or circumstances outside your control may require flexibility. They do not require surrender. One helpful habit is to pay attention to the words you use when explaining your situation. If you often hear yourself saying, "I will start when everything settles down," ask yourself whether life has ever remained completely settled for very long. Every season brings its own demands. Waiting for the perfect moment often becomes another way of avoiding the present one. Action creates clarity. Many people believe they need complete confidence before they begin. In reality, confidence usually appears after taking the first few steps. Experience teaches lessons that planning alone never can. You discover what works, what needs improvement, and what deserves more effort, only by moving forward. When you feel overwhelmed, reduce the size of the next step instead of abandoning the goal. If writing a full chapter feels impossible today, write one page. If exercising for an hour feels unrealistic, take a 20-minute walk. If organizing your entire home feels exhausting, begin with one shelf. Small actions break the feeling of being stuck because they create movement. Responsibility is not about blaming yourself for everything that happens. It is about recognizing where your influence begins. You cannot control every event, every opinion, or every outcome. You can control your preparation, your effort, your attitude, and your willingness to continue learning. Direct your energy toward those areas, because they always remain available to you. There will be days when progress feels invisible. Continue anyway. Seeds do not become trees overnight, and meaningful habits do not transform character in a single week. Consistency often works quietly before it becomes visible. Trust the value of repeated effort, even when immediate results are difficult to see. It is also important to stop comparing your beginning with someone else's middle. Every person carries different experiences, different opportunities, and different challenges. Looking only at another person's achievements while ignoring their years of effort creates unnecessary discouragement. Focus on improving your own path. That is the only comparison that consistently leads to growth. Take time to celebrate completed actions instead of only completed goals. Finishing today's work deserves recognition. Keeping your schedule deserves appreciation. Returning after a setback deserves respect. These moments remind you that success is built from many ordinary victories collected over time. The habit of moving forward does not remove difficulty from life. It changes your relationship with difficulty. Challenges stop becoming reasons to quit and become opportunities to practice persistence. Every time you choose action instead of avoidance, you strengthen a part of your character that no setback can easily break. Your future is shaped less by what you intend to do someday, and more by what you decide to do today. Every meaningful achievement begins with one honest decision to stop explaining why something cannot be done and start discovering what can be done with the time, energy, and resources already available. The first step may seem small, but it has the power to change the direction of everything that follows. Chapter 5. Protect your peace from negative people daily. Peace is one of the most valuable things you will ever build, yet it is also one of the easiest things to lose. It does not disappear all at once. It fades through repeated exposure to unnecessary conflict, constant criticism, unhealthy conversations, and relationships that leave you emotionally exhausted. Many people spend years working hard to improve their careers, finances, or skills, while giving very little attention to the people who shape their daily emotional life. Over time, they discover that success means very little if their mind is filled with tension from the moment they wake up until they go to sleep. Not everyone deserves unlimited access to your time, your attention, or your energy. This is not about believing you are better than other people. It is about recognizing that your emotional well-being needs protection just as much as your physical health. If you would not knowingly eat food that makes you sick every day, there is no reason to repeatedly surround yourself with conversations and relationships that slowly drain your strength. Negative people do not always appear angry or aggressive. Sometimes negativity hides behind constant complaining. Sometimes it appears as endless gossip. Sometimes it comes from people who criticize every dream, every decision, and every improvement you try to make. They may dismiss your goals before you have even begun. They may remind you of every mistake while ignoring every success. If you spend enough time around this kind of thinking, it becomes much harder to believe in your own progress. One of the greatest mistakes people make is assuming they must respond to every opinion they hear. In reality, many opinions deserve nothing more than quiet observation. You do not have to defend every decision you make. You do not have to explain every personal goal. You do not have to win every disagreement. Learning when to remain silent is often a greater sign of strength than having the perfect answer. Silence has a unique power. It creates space between another person's behavior and your response. During that space, you regain control over your emotions. Instead of reacting immediately, you begin choosing your response carefully. That simple habit prevents many unnecessary arguments that only leave both people frustrated. Pay attention to how you feel after spending time with someone. Do you leave the conversation feeling encouraged to become a better person, or do you leave feeling emotionally tired? Do they celebrate your growth, or do they become uncomfortable whenever you improve? Do they speak honestly while treating you with respect, or do they constantly look for reasons to bring you down? These questions help you understand whether a relationship supports your growth or slowly works against it. It is important to understand that protecting your peace does not require becoming cold or unkind. You can remain respectful while creating healthy boundaries. You can care about people without allowing unhealthy behavior to control your emotional state. Kindness and wisdom belong together. One without the other often creates unnecessary suffering. Healthy boundaries begin with simple decisions. You may choose not to participate in conversations built entirely on gossip. You may decide to spend less time arguing with people who have no interest in understanding your perspective. You may stop sharing personal goals with those who repeatedly discourage every new idea. These choices are not acts of rejection. They are acts of self-respect. Many people confuse guilt with responsibility. They believe saying no makes them selfish. In reality, constantly saying yes while ignoring your own well-being creates resentment over time. Every commitment carries a cost. Before agreeing to something, ask yourself whether it supports the life you are trying to build or pulls you away from it. A thoughtful decision today often prevents unnecessary stress tomorrow. One powerful habit is choosing your daily conversations with intention. Spend more time with people who speak about solutions, instead of constantly repeating problems. Notice those who encourage learning, instead of constant comparison. Value relationships where honesty and respect exist together. These people may not always tell you what you want to hear, but they will often tell you what helps you grow. There will also be situations where avoiding negative people is impossible. You may work with them. They may be members of your family. They may appear in places you cannot easily leave. During those moments, your greatest strength becomes your ability to control your own reactions. You cannot decide how another person behaves, but you can decide how much influence their behavior has over your peace of mind. Practice listening without absorbing everything you hear. Not every harsh comment reflects reality. Some people speak from their own frustration, disappointment, or fear. Their words often reveal more about their inner struggles than about your worth. Understanding this does not excuse harmful behavior, but it prevents you from carrying unnecessary emotional weight. Guard your attention carefully. Every hour spent replaying negative conversations is an hour unavailable for meaningful work, personal growth, or peaceful reflection. Ask yourself whether a particular situation deserves another minute of your mental energy. Very often, the answer is no. Redirect that attention towards something that improves your life instead. Forgiveness also plays an important role in protecting your peace. Forgiveness does not require forgetting what happened or pretending harmful actions never occurred. It means refusing to let past experiences continue controlling your present emotional life. Carrying bitterness for years rarely changes another person. More often, it keeps your own heart tied to an experience that should no longer define you. Your environment extends beyond people. Consider the information you consume every day. Constant exposure to outrage, endless arguments online, and negative entertainment influences your thinking in subtle ways. Choose content that teaches, encourages, or helps you understand the world with greater wisdom. Your mind deserves the same careful protection as your closest relationships. There is great strength in becoming emotionally steady. Steadiness does not mean you never feel disappointment or frustration. It means your values remain stronger than temporary emotions. You become less interested in proving yourself to others, and more interested in living according to principles that matter. That quiet confidence cannot be easily shaken, because it is built on character instead of approval. Every day presents a choice. You can allow the moods, opinions, and negativity of others to decide how you think and feel, or you can deliberately protect the atmosphere within your own mind. The second choice requires practice, patience, and courage, but it leads to a calmer life. Over time, people may notice that you no longer react to every criticism or become distracted by every conflict. They may wonder what changed. The answer is simple. You learned that peace is not something you accidentally discover. It is something you intentionally protect through the choices you make, the boundaries you keep, and the people you allow to influence your life. When you value your peace enough to guard it every day, you create space for clearer thinking, stronger relationships, wiser decisions, and a life that reflects your deepest values, rather than the constant noise surrounding you. Chapter 6. Push yourself, even when nobody is watching. The moments that shape your future are often the ones nobody else ever sees. They happen when the room is quiet, when there is no audience, no praise, and no reward waiting at the end of the task. Those are the moments that reveal your true level of commitment. Anyone can work hard when recognition is guaranteed. Real discipline appears when the only person who knows your effort is you. It is easy to believe that success depends on special opportunities or perfect timing. Those things can help, but they never replace consistent effort. Every meaningful achievement is supported by countless ordinary decisions that rarely receive attention. Reading one more page after a long day, practicing a skill when progress feels slow, finishing a task instead of postponing it, or preparing for tomorrow before going to bed may seem insignificant in the moment. Over time, those quiet choices create remarkable results. Many people lose momentum because they depend on external motivation. They work hard when someone encourages them, when a deadline creates pressure, or when they know others are paying attention. Once those conditions disappear, so does their effort. This approach places your future in the hands of circumstances you cannot always control. A stronger approach is to become your own source of accountability. Ask yourself a simple question each evening. If nobody ever praised today's effort, would I still be proud of how I spent my time? That question removes the need for outside approval and places your attention where it belongs, on the quality of your actions. Living by your values is more satisfying than living for applause. There will be days when your work feels repetitive. Improvement often looks ordinary while it is happening. You may not notice immediate changes in your abilities, your confidence, or your results. That does not mean your effort is wasted. Growth usually happens quietly before it becomes visible. Trust the process enough to continue, even when progress cannot yet be measured. Your character is strengthened every time you choose responsibility over convenience. Convenience offers immediate comfort, but often delays long-term progress. Responsibility asks more from you today, so that tomorrow becomes easier. The decision between those two paths appears many times each day. Choosing the harder but wiser option repeatedly builds a life that reflects discipline instead of impulse. One practical way to develop this habit is to create standards that remain the same, whether anyone is watching or not. Complete your work with care, even if no one checks it. Arrive prepared, even if nobody expects it. Practice your skills, even when improvement feels slow. These actions create integrity because your behavior remains consistent regardless of the situation. Do not underestimate the value of finishing what you begin. Every completed task teaches your mind that persistence is part of your identity. Every unfinished commitment creates another opportunity for doubt to grow. Make completion a habit. Even if the step is small, finish it with your full attention before moving to something else. There is quiet freedom in knowing that your work ethic no longer depends on praise, competition, or comparison. You become focused on becoming better than you were yesterday, instead of proving yourself to everyone around you. That shift changes the way you approach every challenge. Effort becomes part of who you are, rather than something you perform only when it is noticed. The strongest habits are built in private. They become visible only after months or years of consistent practice. Keep showing up. Keep improving your craft. Keep honoring your commitments. The world may notice the results one day, but the person who benefits first is you. Every unseen effort strengthens your confidence, because it reminds you that your standards come from within, not from the opinions of others. That is the kind of discipline that endures through success, failure, praise, and criticism alike. Chapter 7. Learn something useful before every day ends. Every day gives you two choices. You can finish the day exactly as you started it, or you can go to bed knowing you understand something you did not understand when the morning began. That small difference may seem unimportant at first, but over months and years, it changes the direction of your life. Growth is rarely the result of one life-changing lesson. It is usually the result of hundreds of small lessons, collected one day at a time. Learning is not something that ends when school is over or when you begin working. In many ways, real learning starts when nobody tells you what to study anymore. It becomes your responsibility to stay curious, ask better questions, and search for knowledge that improves the quality of your decisions. The person who continues learning continues growing. The person who believes there is nothing left to learn slowly becomes trapped by old habits and outdated thinking. You do not need several free hours every day to become wiser. You only need the willingness to use a few quiet moments with intention. Reading a chapter from a thoughtful book, listening to an educational discussion during a walk, practicing a new skill for 20 minutes, or asking someone experienced to explain something you do not know, can all become valuable investments. Small periods of focused learning often create greater results than occasional days filled with information that is quickly forgotten. One reason many people stop learning is because they become uncomfortable with not knowing the answer. They believe asking questions makes them appear less capable. The opposite is often true. People who continue asking thoughtful questions usually improve faster because they refuse to let pride block their progress. Confidence is not pretending to know everything. Confidence is being willing to learn whatever is necessary. Make it a habit to notice the lessons hidden inside ordinary experiences. Every conversation teaches something about communication. Every mistake teaches something about preparation. Every challenge reveals something about patience, judgment, or resilience. Even difficult days contain valuable information if you are willing to examine them honestly instead of rushing to forget them. At the end of each day, spend a few quiet minutes reflecting on what happened. Ask yourself simple questions. What surprised me today? What did I handle well? What would I do differently if the same situation happened tomorrow? Reflection turns experience into wisdom. Without reflection, many important lessons pass through your life without leaving any lasting impact. Choose knowledge that helps you become more capable in everyday life. Learn how to manage your finances more wisely. Improve your communication so people understand your ideas more clearly. Develop practical skills that solve real problems. Study habits that improve your health, your relationships, and your work. Useful knowledge becomes valuable only when it influences the way you live. Be careful not to confuse consuming information with learning. Reading 10 books without applying a single lesson changes very little. Watching endless educational videos without taking action creates the illusion of progress. Real learning appears when new knowledge changes your behavior. After discovering a useful idea, ask yourself how you will use it within the next 24 hours. Immediate action helps transform information into experience. Surround yourself with people who enjoy learning. Their curiosity becomes contagious. Conversations become richer because they explore ideas instead of repeating complaints. They encourage you to think more deeply, challenge your assumptions, and consider different perspectives. You do not have to agree with every opinion you hear, but listening with an open mind often reveals insights you would never have discovered alone. There will be seasons when life becomes busy, and your schedule feels full. During those times, do not abandon learning completely. Reduce the amount if necessary, but protect the habit. Reading 5 meaningful pages is better than reading none. Practicing a skill for 15 focused minutes is better than waiting for a perfect afternoon that never arrives. Consistency keeps your mind active, even during demanding periods. Learning also requires humility. No matter how much experience you gain, there will always be someone who knows something you do not. Accepting this truth keeps your mind flexible. It allows you to grow instead of becoming limited by your own certainty. A humble learner continues improving because every day offers another opportunity to discover something useful. Pay attention to the quality of the information you allow into your mind. Not everything deserves your attention. Seek ideas that encourage clear thinking, personal responsibility, and practical improvement. Avoid spending too much time on information that creates unnecessary distraction without adding lasting value. Your attention is limited, so invest it wisely. One meaningful lesson each day may seem like a small achievement. Yet imagine carrying one new idea into every tomorrow. Over the course of a year, you would not simply know more. You would think differently, make better decisions, solve problems more effectively, and approach life with greater confidence. Those quiet improvements would influence your work, your relationships, and the way you respond to unexpected challenges. The goal is not to become the smartest person in every room. The goal is to become a little wiser than you were yesterday. That kind of progress never depends on luck or natural talent. It depends on a simple daily choice to remain curious, stay teachable, and apply what you learn with honesty and consistency. When each day ends with one useful lesson carried into the next, your life begins changing in ways that are steady, meaningful, and lasting. Chapter 8. Treat your body like it truly matters. Your body is with you every hour of every day. It carries you through every challenge, every opportunity, every conversation, and every goal you hope to achieve. Yet many people treat it as if it will always perform well, no matter how they care for it. They ignore signs of exhaustion, survive on poor habits, postpone movement, sacrifice sleep, and expect their body to continue giving its best. Sooner or later, that expectation becomes impossible to meet. The quality of your life is closely connected to the way you care for the body that makes every experience possible. Many people think of health only when something goes wrong. They wait until they feel constant fatigue, recurring pain, or serious illness before deciding to pay attention. A wiser approach is to care for your body long before it forces you to notice it. Daily attention prevents many future problems and gives you the strength to handle the challenges that cannot be avoided. Treating your body well is not about chasing perfection. It is about showing consistent respect. Small actions repeated every day have a greater impact than extreme efforts that last only a short time. A balanced meal, a short walk, enough water, regular sleep, and steady movement may appear ordinary, but together they create a foundation that supports every other area of your life. Your energy affects the way you think. When your body is constantly tired, even simple decisions begin to feel difficult. Patience becomes harder. Focus disappears more quickly. Small problems seem much larger than they really are. Taking care of your physical health is not separate from building a strong mind. The two support one another every single day. Movement is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. Your body was not designed to remain still from morning until night. It responds well when it is challenged with regular activity. This does not mean every workout must be intense. A brisk walk, gentle stretching, cycling, swimming, or strength training can all improve the way you feel. The important thing is consistency. Your body benefits more from regular movement than from occasional bursts of effort, followed by long periods of inactivity. Do not exercise because you dislike your body. Exercise because you value what your body allows you to do. It helps you climb stairs without losing your breath, carry your children, complete long workdays, travel, explore new places, and remain independent as you grow older. When movement becomes an act of gratitude instead of punishment, it is much easier to make it part of your life. Food deserves thoughtful attention as well. Every meal is another opportunity to support your health or slowly weaken it. This does not require strict rules or constant worry. It requires awareness. Notice how different foods make you feel. Some leave you satisfied and energized. Others leave you sluggish and uncomfortable. Pay attention to those signals, because your body communicates honestly if you are willing to listen. Eating with intention also means slowing down. Many people rush through meals while distracted by screens, work, or endless notifications. They finish eating without truly noticing the experience. Giving yourself time to enjoy a meal often helps you make better choices and appreciate what you have, instead of constantly seeking more. Sleep is another form of discipline that many people underestimate. Staying awake late to accomplish one more task may seem productive, but repeated lack of rest eventually reduces the quality of your work. Your mind becomes less clear. Your emotions become less steady. Your body recovers more slowly. Rest is not a reward for finishing everything. It is a necessary part of performing well tomorrow. Creating an evening routine can improve both your sleep and your overall well-being. Reduce unnecessary screen time before bed. Give yourself a few quiet moments to relax. Read something meaningful. Write down tomorrow's priorities, or simply allow your mind to settle. These simple habits prepare both your body and your thoughts for a deeper and more refreshing rest. Stress also leaves a physical mark. Tight shoulders, headaches, restless sleep, and constant tension are often reminders that your body is carrying more than it should. While you cannot remove every source of pressure, you can reduce its impact through healthy habits. Deep breathing, regular movement, meaningful conversations, and quiet moments of reflection all help your body recover from demanding days. Learn to notice early signs of exhaustion instead of ignoring them. Feeling constantly drained is not something you should simply accept. Ask yourself whether you are eating well, sleeping enough, moving regularly, and allowing yourself moments of genuine recovery. Small adjustments made early often prevent larger problems later. Avoid comparing your body to someone else's. Every person has a different starting point, different abilities, and different circumstances. Comparison often steals motivation because it shifts your attention away from your own progress. Focus instead on becoming healthier than you were last month. Celebrate improvements in strength, endurance, flexibility, energy, or consistency, rather than measuring yourself against another person's journey. Be patient with yourself as you build healthier habits. Lasting change rarely happens quickly. There will be days when you miss a workout, choose an unhealthy meal, or fall short of your routine. Those moments are not reasons to quit. They are reminders to return to your habits with renewed commitment. One imperfect day does not erase months of good decisions unless you allow it to become a permanent pattern. It is also important to remember that health is not only about appearance. A healthy body allows you to think clearly, work with greater focus, enjoy meaningful relationships, and experience life with more energy. Those benefits reach far beyond what anyone else can see. They improve your daily experience from the inside out. Your body deserves appreciation, even while you continue improving it. Spend less time criticizing yourself and more time supporting yourself with actions that reflect care. Speak to yourself with respect. Make choices that strengthen you. Build routines that help you feel capable instead of constantly exhausted. Every healthy decision sends a quiet message that your well-being matters. As the days become months, and the months become years, these ordinary habits begin creating extraordinary results. You wake with more energy. You recover more quickly from challenges. You carry yourself with greater confidence because you know you are taking responsibility for something precious. Caring for your body is not a distraction from your goals. It is one of the most practical ways to make those goals possible. When you treat your body like it truly matters, you give yourself the strength, clarity, and resilience needed to build a life that reflects your highest values, one healthy decision at a time. Chapter 9. Spend your time like it cannot return. Time is the one part of life that treats every person equally. Every morning begins with the same number of hours, yet people finish the day with completely different results. The difference is rarely explained by luck alone. It is usually shaped by the choices made between waking up and going to sleep. Once an hour passes, it never returns. No amount of money, talent, influence, or success can buy it back. That simple truth should change the way you think about every day. Many people protect their money more carefully than they protect their time. They think carefully before making a purchase, yet they allow hours to disappear without asking whether those hours were spent on something meaningful. If you misplaced a large amount of money, you would immediately try to recover it. When an evening disappears without purpose, most people simply accept it and promise themselves that tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow often becomes another copy of today, unless a deliberate decision is made. Your life is not measured only by years. It is measured by how those years are used. A single focused hour spent learning, creating, helping someone, or improving a valuable skill can influence your future far more than an entire day spent drifting without direction. Small pieces of time may appear insignificant on their own, but together, they become the story of your life. One helpful habit is to begin each day by deciding what truly deserves your attention. If everything feels equally important, your attention becomes scattered. Choose a small number of meaningful priorities instead of trying to accomplish everything at once. Clear priorities reduce unnecessary stress because they give your day a sense of direction. When you know what matters most, it becomes easier to say no to what does not. Distractions rarely announce themselves as distractions. They often arrive disguised as harmless interruptions. A quick glance at your phone becomes half an hour. One unnecessary conversation grows much longer than expected. Constant switching between tasks leaves you busy without being productive. These moments seem small while they are happening, yet they quietly consume the time you hoped to spend on something that truly mattered. Protecting your time requires making intentional choices. You do not have to fill every minute with work. Rest, laughter, family, and quiet moments are valuable parts of a meaningful life. The goal is not constant activity. The goal is conscious living. Know why you are spending your time, the way you are spending it. Make sure your actions reflect your values, instead of your impulses. Many people postpone important goals because they believe they will have more time in the future. They wait for a less busy season, a better opportunity, or the perfect moment to begin. Life rarely becomes completely free of responsibilities. New demands simply replace old ones. Waiting often creates a habit of waiting. Progress begins when you decide to use the time already available, instead of wishing for more. Even 15 focused minutes can create momentum. You can read a few pages, practice a language, organize part of your workspace, prepare tomorrow's schedule, or improve a skill little by little. These actions may not seem impressive on a single day, but repeated consistently, they become powerful. Great achievements are often built from ordinary moments used wisely. Pay attention to activities that leave you feeling fulfilled, rather than merely occupied. There is a difference between being busy and making progress. A full schedule does not automatically create a meaningful life. Ask yourself whether your daily actions move you closer to the person you want to become. If the answer is no, make one small adjustment instead of waiting for a complete life overhaul. Another valuable practice is learning to finish what deserves your full attention before moving to the next task. Constantly jumping from one activity to another weakens focus and often creates unnecessary frustration. Give your mind permission to stay with one meaningful task until you have made genuine progress. Deep attention produces better results than constant multitasking. Be thoughtful about the commitments you accept. Every time you say yes to one responsibility, you are also saying no to something else. Before agreeing to another obligation, ask yourself whether it supports the direction you want your life to take. It is possible to be generous with your time, while still protecting it wisely. Healthy boundaries allow you to contribute without becoming overwhelmed. Do not overlook the importance of spending time with people who matter. Conversations with loved ones, shared meals, listening carefully, and being fully present are investments that cannot always be measured immediately. One day you may realize those ordinary moments became your most treasured memories. Give people your attention while they are with you, instead of allowing distractions to steal moments that can never be repeated. Reflection is another wise use of time. At the end of the day, spend a few quiet minutes asking yourself whether your hours reflected your priorities. Notice what worked well and what could be improved tomorrow. This simple habit helps you become more intentional because it transforms each day into an opportunity to learn, instead of simply another date on the calendar. Avoid carrying unnecessary regrets by acting while opportunities are still available. Make the phone call you have been delaying. Begin the project that keeps returning to your thoughts. Learn the skill that has interested you for years. Tell people you appreciate them while they can still hear your words. Time has a way of reminding us that postponement often carries a greater cost than effort. Remember that your future is shaped by today's ordinary decisions. Every hour invested in meaningful work, learning, health, relationships, or personal growth becomes part of a stronger tomorrow. Every hour carelessly lost is gone forever. This truth is not meant to create fear. It is meant to create awareness. Awareness encourages wiser choices because it reminds you that your time is one of your greatest resources. As the years pass, people rarely wish they had spent more time worrying, complaining, or avoiding meaningful challenges. They often wish they had lived more intentionally, loved more deeply, learned more consistently, and acted more courageously. You have the opportunity to make those choices today. Treat every day as something valuable, rather than something ordinary. Spend your time in ways that allow you to look back with gratitude instead of regret. When you begin valuing your hours with care and purpose, you are not simply managing a schedule. You are shaping the quality of your entire life, one thoughtful decision at a time. Chapter 10. Become someone you feel proud to be. There comes a moment in every person's life when excuses, comparisons, and outside opinions begin to lose their importance. What starts to matter most is a much quieter question. Can you honestly say you are becoming the kind of person you respect? That question reaches deeper than success, money, or recognition, because it asks you to look beyond what the world sees. It asks you to examine your character when nobody is watching, and your choices when no reward is guaranteed. Many people spend years trying to create an impressive image while giving very little attention to the person behind that image. They become concerned with appearing successful instead of becoming trustworthy. They want admiration before they have earned self-respect. Yet appearances change quickly. Character remains. Long after achievements fade and circumstances change, the kind of person you have become continues to shape every part of your life. Being proud of yourself does not require living a perfect life. Perfection is impossible, and chasing it often leads to disappointment. Real pride comes from knowing that you are making honest progress. It comes from facing difficult situations with integrity, admitting your mistakes without making excuses, treating people with respect, and continuing to grow even when growth feels slow. You earn self-respect through repeated choices, not through flawless performance. Think about the people you admire most. Chances are, you respect them for qualities that cannot be measured by numbers alone. You admire their honesty, when telling the truth would have been easier to avoid. You admire their patience during difficult moments. You admire their willingness to help others without expecting recognition. You admire their consistency, because they remain true to their values whether life is easy or difficult. Those qualities are available to anyone willing to practice them every day. Character is built through ordinary decisions. Every conversation gives you an opportunity to choose kindness over impatience. Every challenge gives you an opportunity to choose responsibility over blame. Every disappointment gives you an opportunity to choose resilience over surrender. These moments rarely seem important while they are happening, yet together, they become the foundation of the person you are becoming. Take time to define the qualities you want to strengthen. Do you want to become more dependable, more patient, more courageous, more generous, more disciplined? Write those qualities down and keep them where you can see them often. A clear direction makes daily decisions much easier because you know the kind of person you are working to become. Do not measure your worth only by your accomplishments. Achievements are meaningful, but they are not the complete picture. A person can reach impressive goals while neglecting honesty, humility, or compassion. Lasting fulfillment comes when success and character grow together. Build a life that allows you to feel proud, not only of what you have achieved, but also of how you achieved it. Learn to keep your values steady during changing circumstances. It is easy to be patient when everything goes according to plan. It is much harder when someone tests your patience. It is easy to be honest when telling the truth costs nothing. It becomes more meaningful when honesty requires courage. Difficult moments reveal whether your principles are simply pleasant ideas or deeply rooted habits. Do not allow temporary failures to become permanent labels. Everyone experiences disappointment. Everyone makes poor decisions from time to time. Those moments should become teachers rather than lifelong identities. Accept responsibility, correct your course, and continue moving forward. The strongest people are not those who never fall short. They are the ones who refuse to let failure become their final definition. Choose your words carefully, because they shape both your relationships and your own thinking. Speak truthfully, keep your promises, avoid unnecessary criticism. Encourage others sincerely when they deserve it. Words have lasting influence, and people often remember how you made them feel long after they forget the details of a conversation. Becoming someone you respect includes becoming someone whose words bring clarity instead of confusion. Practice gratitude without becoming satisfied with standing still. You can appreciate how far you have come while continuing to work toward something better. Gratitude reminds you that your life already contains value. Ambition reminds you that there is still room for growth. Together, they create a healthy balance between contentment and progress. Be willing to make difficult decisions when they align with your values. There may be times when honesty costs you an opportunity. There may be moments when choosing what is right feels harder than choosing what is easy. Those decisions define your character more than comfortable situations ever could. Integrity is often expensive in the short term, but it creates peace that cannot be purchased. Treat every person with dignity, regardless of what they can offer you. Kindness shown only to influential people is not genuine kindness. Respect shown only when it is convenient is not real respect. Your character becomes visible in the way you treat people who cannot improve your status or reward your efforts. Quiet acts of decency often reveal more about you than public achievements. Remember that your daily habits are shaping your future identity. Every book you read, every promise you keep, every healthy decision you make, every hour you invest wisely, and every difficult conversation you handle with maturity becomes part of your character. These actions may appear small when viewed individually, but together, they create a life that reflects intention rather than accident. Do not spend your life trying to become someone else. Learn from others, appreciate their strengths, and be inspired by their examples, but build a life that is true to your own values. Comparing yourself endlessly to other people steals the attention needed to improve your own character. Your journey is unique because your experiences, responsibilities, and opportunities are different. Focus on becoming the best version of yourself instead of becoming a copy of someone else. Make reflection part of your routine. At the end of each day, ask yourself a few honest questions. Did I act according to my values today? Did I treat people fairly? Did I learn from my mistakes? Did I leave someone better than I found them? Did I move one step closer to becoming the person I want to be? Honest answers create honest growth. There will always be more goals to pursue, more skills to learn, and more challenges to overcome. That journey never truly ends, and that is part of its beauty. Personal growth is not a destination where you finally arrive and stop improving. It is a lifelong commitment to becoming wiser, stronger, kinder, and more disciplined through the choices you make every day. One day you will look back on the years that shaped your life. At that moment, the greatest source of satisfaction will not be how many people admired you or how many possessions you collected. It will come from knowing that you lived with integrity, kept faith with your values, treated others with respect, and continued improving even when the path was difficult. That quiet confidence cannot be given by anyone else, and it cannot be taken away by changing circumstances. Every sunrise gives you another opportunity to become a little more patient, a little more honest, a little more courageous, and a little more compassionate than you were yesterday. Those improvements may seem small in a single day, but over time, they transform the person you see in the mirror. When your actions consistently match your values, you no longer need constant approval from the outside world, because you carry something much more valuable within yourself. You carry the deep satisfaction of knowing that you are becoming someone you genuinely respect. That is a reward that grows stronger with every passing year, and it is one that no setback, criticism, or temporary failure can ever take away. Your future is built by what you work on every day, not by what you wish for once in a while. As this audiobook comes to an end, remember that knowledge alone will not change your life. Change begins when you take one idea from today and put it into practice before this day is over. You do not have to master all 10 habits at once. Choose one, stay committed to it, then build the next one. Small daily improvements may not seem dramatic, but over time, they create a completely different life. The person you want to become is not waiting somewhere in the future. That person is created by the choices you make. After this audiobook ends, every morning gives you another chance to improve. Every decision gives you another chance to grow. Every day gives you another opportunity to become stronger than yesterday. If this audiobook challenged the way you think, return to it often. Listen again. You will notice lessons you missed the first time, because you will be growing with every listen. Some ideas reveal their full value only when you are ready to apply them. Thank you for spending this time investing in yourself. Keep learning, keep improving, keep showing up every day. Your best life is not built in one moment. It is built one day at a time. Until the next audiobook, never stop working on the person you are becoming.